Hi everyone, I'm Randy from Take Care Salon. Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be talking about how to work with gray hair. So we're asked all the time, what do I do to make my hair lower maintenance? Or I'm thinking about going gray, what are my options? So we're going to kind of talk through the different options that are there when it comes to gray hair and how to take care of them. So the first hot tip that we have for you is it's all about contrast. The reason why your gray regrowth stands out so much is because the ends are so much darker or so much more vibrant, and then as the gray grows in, of course, it's not. The gray regrowth is really going to stand out if everywhere else is more vibrant or darker. Whatever we can do to make the hair appear lighter is going to help to blend that better. So you might think about going a little bit lighter. Lighter appears softer. So there are a lot of different ways we can even go lighter. So when it comes to going lighter, here are some options. Number one, you could do an all-over application lighter. Now that would be a little bit more of a corrective process, and depending on how dark you are, that could take some time. You can take a look at our video on going lighter or going to a vivid tone after this, and that can clue you in on what it will take for you to go from dark into lighter and on up to a blonde. Now, sometimes it's just adjusting it a little bit. Maybe you just need to shift slightly lighter. We can shift slightly lighter over time. Every time you come in, we'll just apply a little bit lighter color, and we'll get to a point where the contrast won't be as strong, and we'll get to a place where maybe you'll find that balance that you want. Another way to decrease the maintenance on gray hair is to do a highlight. So whether that's a traditional foil highlight or any other highlighting technique, it's the contrast that makes the gray stand out. To have lights and darks mixing together gives you contrast everywhere. If you have contrast everywhere, then the gray won't be as noticeable as it grows in. So creating a highlighted end result would really be beneficial. Another thought for you is when it comes to red hair. If you have red hair or gold or some kind of strong tone, gray is cool, and if it's right next to a warm color, then of course once again that contrast makes it even more noticeable. So for you redheads out there, we understand that you struggle with the gray even more than most, just like the deep brunettes do, because those are the ones where you'll see the very most contrast. So if you go to a softer red instead of staying as vibrant, or a lighter red, so just remember, lighter, less vibrant, cooler, those are always going to be your best options for a lower maintenance hair color. Another option would be to stop doing complete gray coverage. So what we would do then is what we call gray blending. And the reason it's called gray blending is because you'll still have some gray. It just won't be as much. So we can decrease the amount of gray so that you still have some, or we can even make it so that the hair that used to be gray takes on color, but the color that it takes on is significantly lighter than everywhere else, which once again creates kind of that dimension. Now, the challenge with a lot of the colors that leave some of your gray is they will fade off of your hair a little bit as well. So you walk out the door and you have mostly gray coverage, but you'll have a couple of grays showing, but then slowly over time, those grays show more and more and more. Now, pros and cons to everything. So the beautiful thing about the way that fades off is as it fades, it means that you won't have a regrowth line. There will be no strong line, which gives you a lot more versatility, and it means that you can wait a longer period of time to come in for a retouch. So it will make the regrowth line less noticeable. But just like there was that benefit, the drawback to that is, of course, you do have gray showing. So if you're not comfortable showing any gray, then that's not necessarily the right option for you. Maybe the best option for you then is to go a little bit lighter. Another option would be to go gray. Now, gray is definitely a trend right now. Even if you go gray, we can still continue to color your hair and give it a much more interesting type of gray result rather than just your natural gray. But the closer you get to your natural gray, the lower maintenance it will become. So we can also take you to a gray or a silver, or if your hair's white all over, white is really quite beautiful and quite striking. So start to think about those options, but always remember, it really comes down to contrast. So let's review. Remember, the reason your gray hair stands out is because of contrast. By decreasing your contrast, you'll increase the time that you're able to wait between retouches. A couple of thoughts there would be, don't go as warm or as red, or go lighter. Significantly lighter is a significant difference, subtly lighter is a subtle difference. And there are a lot of different ways that you can do all of that. But the more you're able to decrease the contrast, the longer you're able to wait between your retouch times. We hope that was beneficial to you. I'm Randy from Cake Hair Salon. Thank you so much for joining us. If you learned something, if you liked what you saw, please like, subscribe, leave comments below. We would love to hear every comment that you've got. If you have further questions about gray hair or anything else, leave a question below and we would be more than happy to answer that. It may even be in an upcoming video. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.